Hello students, this is Helizchem. Today, we want to quickly look at how to solve this question on balancing of equation. This is the question. Consider the reaction represented by the following equation. XCH3OH plus YO2 to produce 2CO2 plus ZH2O. The values of x, y, and z respectively are A 2, 3, and 4, B 2, 4, and 3, C 1, 2, and 3, D 1, 3, and 5. This is the solution. This question is based on balancing of equation. If you want to balance equation, we use what we call coefficient. Coefficient is a whole number numeral that is written in front of the formula or in front of the symbol of the elements taking part in the reaction. Like this X, Y, Z now, they are referred to as coefficients. And what they do in equation is that they multiply. They are multipliers. They multiply the number of atoms in front of which they are written. So, the method we want to employ in balancing this equation is called check and balance method. How do we go about it? We all know that equations have two sides. There's something we call left hand side and right hand side. Now, let us look at the elements and the number of atoms that are present in the left hand side of the equation and right hand side of the equation. If you don't know what I mean by left hand side, any reaction, any combination of formula that appears to the left hand side of this arrow is what we call left hand side of the equation, and the product side, which is written on the right hand side of the arrow, is called right hand side of the equation. Now, to the reactant side, which is the left hand side, we have the following. The number of carbon here is 1. The number of hydrogen atom here is 3. The number of oxygen is 1. The number of hydrogen is 1. And oxygen here is 2. Let's go to the product side. The number of carbon here is 2. The number of oxygen is 4 because 2 times 2 here, making 4 atoms of oxygen. Then hydrogen here, we have 2. Oxygen here, we have 1. So what we are going to do now is we are going to use coefficients to balance it, and we are going to be checking each atom one by one, and that is why I call it check and balance method. If you look at the left hand side here, carbon has just 1, but here carbon has 2. So you will think of the coefficient that we multiply 1 to make it 2, just as we have on the right hand side, and that coefficient is 2. So 1 times 2, we have 2. If you now look at it now, carbon is 2 here, carbon is 2 here, and that makes it to be balanced. Before I continue, What is a balanced equation? A balanced equation is an equation where the number and kinds of atoms on the reactant side equals the number and kinds of atoms on the product side. That is what we call balanced equation. So what we want to achieve here by finding the values of x, y, and z is that we want to make sure that this equation is balanced. As I said earlier, the method is check and balance. Now let us check it. You will have to rewrite this equation now, but you will not put this x, y, and z there. So let's rewrite it. This is CH3OH plus O2 to produce 2CO2 plus H2O. Now, we have seen that on the reactant side, we have multiplied the carbon atom, which is 1, by 2. So we now go to the reaction, we look at the carbon, then we now put 2 in front of it like this, or whichever way you want to use, at the back of it. You will not write it here, you write it at the back. You will now check the equation again and see whether it is balanced. Now, our carbon now is now 2. Because this coefficient is a multiplier, hydrogen has become what? 6. Oxygen here now times 2 has become 2. Hydrogen here also has become 2. But oxygen here remains 2 because the 2 here is not applicable to the oxygen. It does not affect it. Let's go to the right hand side of the equation. The number of atoms remain the same. Now here we have balanced carbon now. But if you look at hydrogen here, hydrogen now is 6 here and hydrogen is 2 here. So 6 plus 2, we now have 8 hydrogen atoms on the left hand side. But if you go to the right hand side, we are having hydrogen, which is 2. So think of a coefficient that you will use to multiply this one that will make it 8. So that will be 4 to give us 8. You will now go back to this same equation again, where you are having hydrogen. We want to make it 8. So we have to put 4 here. We have put 4 here now. As the method implies, check and balance. So we want to check again now. We are satisfied with this and with this and with this, but we need to check it because we did not write anything here, so you don't need to check it. So let's check this place now. Our carbon is 2, our oxygen here is 4, hydrogen is 8, but oxygen has been multiplied by 4, and that makes it to be what? 4. So if you look at the oxygen here now and the one here, total sum of oxygen now is 8. But if you come to this side, oxygen here is 2 and this one too is 2, making 4, and we are looking for 8. So what do we do to make this one 8? I know you will suggest that we should multiply this one by 2 and this one by 2. Yes, you are right, but that is not the way, because we have already settled with this. The only thing that we are left with where we have oxygen is this place. So it is this place that will multiply by 3. So when you multiply this one by 3, you are having 6. So 6 plus 2 here now makes 8, which is the same thing as the number of oxygen that is here. So where will you put your 3? It affects this oxygen, so you are going to put your 3 here, and that settles oxygen atom. Now let us go back to the options. If you look at it now, this is our X, this is our Y, and this is our Z. That shows that our X is 2, our Y is 3, and our Z is 4. Let's go back to the option. Option A says 2, 3, and 4. If you look at it, this is 2, 3, and 4. So the correct answer is A. But we need to check the rest. Option B is 2, 4, and 3. You can see now that it's not the same thing as this. Option C is 1, 2, and 3. It is not correct. So B is not correct. C is not correct. Let's look at D, 1, 3, and 5. This also is not correct. So the correct answer now is A, which has 2, 3, and 4. And the balance equation for this reaction now is 2CH3OH plus 3O2 to produce 2CO2 plus 4H2O. I hope you got value from this question. If yes, stay tuned on Helizchem, where I'll be bringing you more topics like this. Bye.